the main challenge was the people. What this HR can teach us.
Yeah.
What does she know? How can we follow her? And after 1 week, I realized that I need to talk about this elephant in the room. I decided to gather the managers and I told them the following. I know systems, business processes, and people. Sorry. You know operations. So the combination between us can be a huge contribution and a unique contribution. And we can do great things together because I bring something that you don't have at the moment, and you bring something that I will never know. So that was a turning point where everybody felt they have the room to impact.
That's Merav Yanai, my guest today. Merav is an HR executive that turned into an operations leader. She decided to leave corporate and build a startup from scratch. She spent 30 years watching companies leave their managers to figure it out on their own. I was that kind of manager myself. And her frustration became Leap. Leap is an AI tool she built to be what most managers never get. A thinking partner available in real time that nobody else has to know about. So for those of you who walk into a room that doubt you, or maybe you made a move that scares you, I want to invite you to listen to the conversation today with Merav. And welcome back to From a Woman to a Leader, a podcast where we talk about women in tech helping you thrive. I'm your host, Limor Bergman Gross. And let's dive right in. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of From a Woman to a Leader. And before we start, I want to thank Google for Startups for hosting us in their beautiful studio that actually became like a second home for me. So thank you so much, Google. And I want to introduce you to my guest today, Merav Yanai. Hi, Merav. How are you?
Hi. Great. Very exciting to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Very excited to be here. And I'll start with maybe the transitions that you made. So you moved quite a bit. You moved from HR to operations. You led a major merger and then founded a startup.
Right.
So what was the moment that you figured out that you needed to transition?
It was not a moment, okay? It's always kind of part of a move, of a movement. But usually I learned my cycles, and I learned that what's drive me better is where the places where I have impact and I have partnership. And these were the two parameters that pushed me to run and change. Also, I felt that after 3 to 4 years, I cannot change what I haven't changed yet. So it's about time to move on. In most cases, it was a lot of curiosity and internal drive to do more, to take more, to run faster, to bring more value, to find another areas of impact. It's kind of inner drive, I would say, that pushed me to change. I didn't know the nature of the change, but it was not kind of just happened. Some of the changes I really planned in advance, and I worked for it to happen, and some of them were just as part of a movement.
Okay. And can you share maybe like something that you planned, how it went? Like,
Okay, so I was less than 40. Okay, I was, I think, 38 or something. And I decided that by the age of 40, 42 max, I need to be a VP HR. Why? It was kind of a real, it's a kind of a decision you take, and you ask yourself, okay, why 42? Why not 41 or 43? I had the perception that this is the time for me to break through and to make changes and to make the impact I dreamed on. And I don't want someone who will take these decisions instead of me. So I felt ready, but I knew it will take time to make it happen.
mm-hmm.
So that was a planned one. An unplanned one, by the way, another planned one was to move to operations. Not because I thought I will move to operations. I've never discussed it with anyone. And I was offered to move to operations, so it was not planned by me. However, we were acquired by an American company, and I told my manager, the CEO of the company, that HR and business processes, which I was responsible for, are not the areas I can teach corporate, US corporate, or I cannot impact there. I believe I will be just part of a team.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it's the time to leave, and he decided that he's not gonna let me leave, and he will give me the operations. So it was kind of, I took the decision to leave, and then things happen.
So you kind of took the opportunity. So there was an acquisition, and you kind of, it was an opportunity for you to move to operations. Can you share, like, it's not very typical, like moving from HR to operations.
Yeah.
Like, how was it? What was the biggest challenge or challenges?
Okay, first of all, the main challenge was the people. What this HR can teach us.
Yeah.
What does she know? How can we follow her? Okay, that was the main challenge. And after 1 week, I realized that I need to talk about this elephant in the room. Because they talked about it behind
your back. Yeah.
And I had to put it on the table because we have to discuss it if I want them to engage and work together. So it was tough time. I decided to frame it as follows. I told them, you know what? I don't know. I gathered
like the people that
managers,
like the people that reported to you. Who did you talk to?
And reported to them. Okay, it was a big operations, and I decided to gather the managers, and I told them the following. I know systems, business processes, and people. Sorry. You know operations. So the combination between us can be a huge contribution and a unique contribution. And we can do great things together because I bring something that you don't have at the moment, and you bring something that I will never know. So that was a turning point where everybody felt they have the room to impact. Then after, there were more difficulties around leading the quarters, okay, and make it happen. And the transition we made in operations, which was a real significant transition in terms of impacting P&L. And then what was, or the way for me to impact in areas that I didn't know was to use a very nice, I would say procedure, mindset that I use from time to time, which is the power of not knowing. Means you come to a situation and you just don't know, but you admit you don't know. And immediately after admitting you don't know, everybody in the room can admit they don't know something because you did it. Also, I can ask stupid questions because I don't know, okay? And now they take the position of teaching me, which is a very strong engagement. So taking this attitude or mindset really helped me in this transition.
Yes, I'm hearing kind of a common thread here that you kind of came and there was, maybe they were wondering like, what is this HR person doing here and how can we trust her? And you're coming from a place of, yeah, I don't know everything. I don't know about operations, but I do know about processes, people, about other things that I bring, and let's work together. And you empower them basically to use their skills.
Right.
And also from coming from this I don't know mentality, you allow people to be vulnerable and share, like to be really transparent about what they do know and what they don't know.
Definitely. That was a powerful point. It was not a plan. I didn't plan it, okay, that way. Okay, I didn't know the impact of this attitude, but I didn't have any other choice. Okay, I could play like I know everything, but I was too experienced, and I knew that they talk and and it's right. I don't know. Okay, so I couldn't play like I'm the master of operations.
I think that makes total sense, and I think I use that strategy too, without even knowing it, because I was managing engineers and engineering leaders, and yeah, I didn't know all the technical areas. I think it's impossible for someone, especially as you grow and you lead like large organizations, you cannot be the best at everything, right? I mean,
Definitely.
You have high-level view, you're good at strategic thinking, you're good at a lot of things, but you don't know all the details. And just coming and saying, hey, I had an incident that I lost a manager. He was very, very technical in a specific area. And I told the team, hey, I'm going to cover for him until I find someone else. Help me find the next manager. And also, bear with me. I don't have all the technical knowledge that he had. And that immediately created trust. And actually, they did help me find a new manager.
But it's not trivial, okay? It's not trivial. And I learned it from my HR background and from the changes I've made, okay? Because when you come to a new position, everybody expects you to be the star.
Yeah, to know it all. Yeah.
To impact, to bring new adventures and ideas. And this expectation is kind of
unrealistic,
and you fall to this mistake quite easily. Okay.
Yeah.
So the challenge not to fall to it and think and admit that you don't know. You need to train yourself by.
I think it takes a certain level of confidence in your abilities, because when you're vulnerable, when you're saying I don't know something, it's hard. It's hard. Most people
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable with that because they see that as a weakness.
I would add another point here.
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard not just because of it. It's hard because you actually change your identity when you move from one or you do any transition, even within an organization, from one role to another or from one organization to another. You lose part of your identity. You lose your authority. You lose your confidence. You lose the power you had. Now you need to build it from scratch.
Yeah.
And this is, if you think about it, it's quite scary. Okay.
Yeah.
So people don't want to do such moves easily. However, I want to invite the listeners to investigate what muscles they expect to build. Okay, they want to build. What are their desires and what muscles they need to have in order to do it? Because I didn't see the changes as changes. Every change brought with it the new muscles I had to build. Opening a startup, that's the craziest move I've ever made. And it's about so many muscles I have to own and develop. And this is the beauty of the process. Okay, I don't know if this startup will be the next Google, but I know that the process and the way is building something that I haven't had before.
Yeah. So you kind of talk about embracing being uncomfortable and learning and stretching yourself all the time.
Yeah, it sounds like easy.
No, it's not easy at all. I haven't said it's easy. I just said like this kind of mentality of, it's called kind of growth mindset, right? Because we always evolve and grow, and we don't grow by staying comfortable and doing things we already know how to do.
Yeah. And this uncomfortable situation brings you to your best capabilities. It pushed you to your best capabilities.
And you mentioned your startup. What led you to start it?
A huge frustration.
Tell me about it. What was the frustration about?
So along the years, as an HR executive and as a consultant, I felt that we don't really develop the skills of our managers. We just leave them to learn on the job. I would say 70, it's not my statistics, it's well-known statistics that 70% of managers learn on the job. It's a trial and error, okay? So
I agree.
Try. And sometimes
you mean how to be a manager?
Yeah. And I was an organizational consultant. I led workshops. I coached. I mentored. You name it. Okay, along my career as an HR executive and so on. But we left mid-level managers with tools that they cannot impact their day-to-day. And I knew it for years, but I haven't had any other tool to use except the ones that were available.
Can you give an example, like the tools that were not really useful?
Workshops, okay? Very good tool. However, managers feel really frustrated how to transform the knowledge they learn into their day-to-day work. Mentoring, it's quite expensive. You cannot impact on the day-to-day. You can impact the entire career. You can impact on one or two major steps, but it's not scalable. So if I want to support all my mid-level managers, that's a challenge. But we used the tools we had. Now, when ChatGPT was announced, that was a mind-blowing for me, because I realized that I can give managers, mid-level managers, like from team leader to, let's say, director, I can impact their day-to-day smoothly and support them with two things: problem solving and improve their work processes. These are the two critical factors that I felt were critical when I jumped into operations. Now, funny story, the first month of me in operations, I haven't implemented even one best practice I recommended others to do. And I thought to myself, oh my God, how come? How come after so many years in HR, in consultancy, how come I don't implement the best practices? And then I learned something that took me 30 years to learn, okay? Quite embarrassing, but it's an important learning. Managers don't think about team building. You don't wake up in the morning and say, I have a problem and I need the team building. They say, oh, come on, these two guys, stop fighting with each other. So their orientation is from the problem, not from the terms. So I decided to establish, to actually build the agent that supports managers with problem solving and business process improvement, where they can bring their problems and not trying to do the other way around from terms to impact the day-to-day.
Give an example like of a common problem that comes up.
Okay, I'll give you my last discussion with Robin, which is the agent. I asked my team to prepare the work plan for 2026, and they arrived to the meeting, but they haven't synchronized between themselves before, although we discussed it. So I was kind of disappointed because they started to coordinate and sync in the meeting in front of others. So I discussed it with Robin, and the way we discuss it is that we do a mutual investigation. It's not a kind of a ChatGPT or Gemini or others that you get the answers or they ask you informative questions. She asked me insightful questions.
Like what?
And we realized, like, what were the okay, if you go back, okay, in time, how would you change this situation or change your behavior or your reaction to get a different result, which is a very tough question, by the way. But we came to a point as part of this mutual investigation that I need to improve my delegation implementation. It's not that I don't delegate. I delegate. But I need them, I need to follow up on the tasks more closely or differently. Maybe I need to engage them to this delegation in a different way So we ended this case with the solution that I'll take one of the team members to build this synchronization in points in situations where it's critical for us. And I asked Robin, the consultant, the agent, but sync the team is my role. So how come I'll give it to someone else? And the answer was, it's a fair question. However, this is the opportunity to learn how to delegate properly. So it's kind of an internal work and an internal improvement if you want to improve yourself, of course.
Of course. What does Robin knows that other LLMs don't know? I'm curious. I mean, if whatever you can share.
No, of course, no. I'll share everything. It's okay. Okay, so first of all, Robin knows a lot about your managerial environment. It's not just about you as a manager, and it's a difference. So I won't count now the whole parameters, but she knows a lot about your entire managerial environment. Now, she knows, she has a model behind it that investigate your skills, measure your skills, and even can show your improvement. So she knows when to, she knows your gaps, and she knows when to recommend a recommendation that fits your gaps or your strengthened areas. So not just your gaps, okay? And lastly, she knows the history, of course, trivial, okay? And she knows the conversation we managed and the model we went through that led to a point that is very, very specific. So she has a lot of inputs before getting to a conclusion what should be done. And she knows how to analyze the business process you need to improve in order to avoid repetitions of this challenge or this case for next time.
That's exciting.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I started managing. I had no clue what I was doing, I'll be honest with you. Absolutely no clue. But luckily for me, you mentioned mentors. I had a mentor who was a former manager, and he really helped me a lot.
You know, so you're lucky. And you know, managers navigate. They do mistakes, they take decisions, they navigate. But imagine in the situation we're at now, when we ask this level, not just to execute, not just to support their teams and keep their talents, now we ask them to implement AI. What is this AI implementation? It's the whole world of understanding work processes. This is not their forte, okay? They don't know anything about how to set a proper work process. So we put so much pressure on them, and this is the core of the organization. The mid-level management is the core of the organization. They impact mostly on performance and attrition and engagement. So we just have to support them on the job in real time. Robin is their chief of staff. She works with them daily. She helps them. She gives them feedback. She finds their gaps. She finds the gaps in work processes. She's kind of their buddy. And nobody knows what I ask. Nobody knows anything about my gaps. Yeah. Nobody. It's not it's not an organizational discussion, and I can really impact myself.
Now I'll ask you a question.
So I'm a coach.
Okay.
Are you telling me
Okay.
my job is redundant?
That was not a fair question. Okay. I'll give you just my 2 cents. Okay. It doesn't have to be the whole truth, but it's only my sense. The answer is no. I think that Robin will close the gap with challenges I haven't shared with anyone, not with my coaches as well, because we haven't had a chance and time and la la la. And sometimes I didn't want to admit I have these gaps. So it's kind of a safe zone. This is one answer. Second answer, Robin has a model behind it, and she knows how to address, let's say, 80% of the managerial cases. But still, the most complicated ones, the ones that include a huge organizational change and so on, needs your creativity and your knowledge. And sometimes it might be a value to have a one-on-one buddy. I want to fill the area that you don't have this kind of coach, okay? And most of managers, they either don't have it or they have it but not instantly.
Yeah.
And you know, and they need it. Okay.
Definitely. I mean, I'm all for it. I actually posted about it last week. So I think that AI and it's wonderful and all those tools like your company. It's a wonderful way to provide solutions or to provide support to the masses, right? To a large amount, to all, as you said, to everyone. And mentoring and coaching still valuable, but it's not as scalable and it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Although mentoring, I mean, I personally believe that every company should have an internal mentoring program. It's beneficial for both mentors and mentee, and usually,
Definitely.
Yeah. It's just the people in the company and someone to organize it. It's not very expensive.
Definitely, but it's not just because of the cost, okay? Most of managers don't ask because it might impact their career. It might impact their situation at the moment when they enter. Think about a team leader, okay? He was just nominated.
Yeah.
Now he needs to admit that he doesn't know how to do X, Y, or Z. It's not a comfortable situation.
Yeah, I understand. You're saying basically people don't feel comfortable to share what they don't know or, their incompetencies or whatever, the challenges in front of another human being.
And we talked about it before, the environment, everybody expects you to know.
Yeah.
So you want to be in the position that you at least have ideas, okay? You don't have to take the decisions, but at least you have ideas how to tackle any challenge you have on the way, because you just got the role.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a tool that can go with you to your day-to-day in the flow of work. Okay, mentor is not on my flow of work. Yes, mentoring, by the way, the statistics say that workshops impact your knowledge, or you learn as a manager 10% from workshops, 20 from mentoring, and 70 on the job. So it's not instead, it's different. And specifically to Robin, we don't talk about insights only. We talk about execution and change work processes to impact business, not just to get the insight and feel that, okay, I'll take it in consideration.
Yeah.
We focus on moving the needle in performance. And by the way, we got some feedback from users that we succeeded to move decision-making speed, for example, by 12%. We improved which is a huge number. I hope it will be more, but or strategic thinking by 30%. So it's kind of interesting, and it's a blue ocean, because 70% is just trial and error. So imagine that everything we'll do there might impact. That's a huge. It's a kind of a celebration. We know how to reduce this 70%.
Incredible. So before we end today, what are your goals for Leap?
Okay. When you build a startup, you need to think day by day, but you need to think 4, 5, 10 years ahead. So you need to manage these two ends. So day to day, we are going to start an investment round. So we hope to find investors. But the real vision for Leap is to impact managers on their day-to-day. And I think that this is my mission, or in this professional world, I would say. It was, and it is, and it will continue to be. Make managers better ones. And I feel that we are in a great, we have a great opportunity. We're in an unbelievable time.
Yeah.
And this is our chance to make it happen, to make great managers. Also, in the future of work, even employees will be managers, because everybody is going to manage agents, employees, and the environment is going to be highly mixed. So the new capabilities and the skills and the work processes are still the core of what everybody needs.
Yeah. Wonderful. So let's make great managers. I think that's a wonderful way to end.
Let's execute and make great companies.
Wow. Incredible. Well, good luck with Leap, and thank you so much for the conversation today.
Thank you, Limor. It was a pleasure being here, and I hope to meet you next year with news.
It's a date.
It's a date.
Thank you so much for listening to the episode. I hope it was valuable for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting platform and share it with any woman who needs to hear it. And I'll see you next week. Bye.